Have you ever had a goal that stayed just a dream? You imagined it clearly. You felt the excitement. You may have even told others, "This is it, I'm gonna do it." You planned it out. You could see the result in your mind. You even believed it was finally your time. But then life got loud, work got busy, the fire faded, and that beautiful goal remained just that. A goal, not a result, not a reality, just a wish silently archived in the back of your mind. Let's pause here, because this isn't just your story, it's the quiet tragedy of millions. Dreams that never became decisions, plans that never became patterns, habits that never became who we are. We all want the transformation, but we often run from the truth. There's a gap between what we want and what we live. Jim Rohn called it out clearly, powerfully. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. Let that sink in. Discipline is the bridge, not motivation, not inspiration, not more information. Discipline. And today, we're not just going to talk about that bridge, we're going to walk across it, slowly, deliberately, together. Because this video isn't about hype, it's not a motivational shot of energy that fades tomorrow. It's a call to rebuild the muscles that matter. We're going to look deeply into what discipline truly is, why it's misunderstood, and how it quietly transforms not just our outcomes, but our identity. You see, most people think discipline is punishment, a form of self-denial, a restriction. But what if it isn't? What if discipline is freedom in disguise? Discipline is not about being harsh, it's about being aligned. It's not about doing more, it's about doing what matters again and again. It's not about forcing yourself, it's about remembering who you said you wanted to become and returning to that, one action at a time, one choice at a time, one day at a time. Discipline is not the enemy of passion, it is the protector of it. Without discipline, goals remain fantasy. With it, they become footsteps. So if you've ever looked at a dream and whispered, maybe one day, let's change the script. Let's make that day today. Let's walk the bridge, and let's do it together. Because this isn't just about reaching the goal. It's about becoming the kind of person who doesn't stop halfway. Let me ask you something. Have you ever promised yourself that this time would be different? You'd wake up early, you'd start that routine, you'd stop procrastinating, you'd finally do the things you keep saying matter to you. And maybe you did it for a day, maybe two, a week if you were lucky. But then you stopped. And every time you start over, it gets a little harder to believe the next start will last. Why does this keep happening? Why do we have so many goals, but so little follow-through? Why do we feel the desire, but not sustain the discipline? The truth is this: most people are not lazy. They are overwhelmed, distracted, misaligned, and most of all, conditioned by a culture of instant results. We live in a world that rewards intensity, that praises hustle, that celebrates burning bright, even if we burn out. But success, long-term change, discipline, they're not built on intensity. They're built on consistency. They're built on choosing the small thing again and again, even when no one is watching. Let's go deeper. Every January, millions of people write down their New Year's resolutions. New year, new me, right? They set goals to wake up at 5 a.m., eat clean, work out, read more, quit bad habits, start businesses. They buy the planner, they join the gym, they light the motivational fire. And by February, most of those goals are forgotten. The planner collects dust, the gym becomes a guilt trip, and the fire, it dies in the winds of everyday life. Why? Because motivation is a spark, but discipline is the structure. Motivation gets you going, discipline keeps you going. The first reason we lack discipline is because we're taught to chase motivation instead. We scroll for it, we consume endless content. We think if I just feel inspired enough, I'll act. We get addicted to the emotional high of motivation, but when the emotion fades, the action fades with it. But inspiration without structure is like lightning with no ground. It dazzles, it disappears, and it leaves you right where you started. The second reason we struggle? We set unrealistic expectations. We think discipline means going from 0 to 100 overnight. We build castles in our mind with no foundation. We make giant plans, radical changes, and when we can't maintain them, we assume we're failures. But we're not failing, we're just skipping steps. We forget that growth happens in inches, not leaps. Discipline is not a leap, it's a layering. It's one brick at a time. It's not about how fast you start. It's about what you can sustain, because what you sustain is what shapes you. The third reason we lack discipline, we've confused urgency with importance. We live reactive lives, always responding to emails, notifications, emergencies, demands. Our minds are wired to put out fires, not to build foundations. So the things that matter long term, they get pushed to later. But later becomes never. You wanted to work on your dream, but you replied to messages instead. You wanted to build a habit, but you scrolled. You wanted to reflect, but you were too tired from reacting all day. Sound familiar? And here's a big one. We don't have a clear philosophy. We don't know why we do what we do. We don't ask the deeper questions. What kind of person am I becoming? Is my daily behavior aligned with that identity? What is my definition of a good life? What am I willing to suffer for? Jim Rohn said, if you don't design your own life plan, chances are you'll fall into someone else's plan. And guess what they have planned for you? Not much. Maybe just a paycheck. Maybe just distractions. So we drift. We survive. We live by accident instead of on purpose. We let the world write our script. And discipline requires purpose. It requires authorship. It's not a rule, it's a declaration. This is who I choose to be. It needs direction, a clear why. Otherwise, it feels like punishment, like self-denial, like something that takes from us instead of gives. So let's summarize this. We lack discipline not because we're weak, but because we're drowning in distraction, addicted to short-term emotion, trying to change too much too fast, operating without deeper clarity, reacting instead of designing, seeking motivation instead of building systems. Discipline can't thrive in chaos. It needs design. It needs rhythm. It needs reason. It needs to feel like a gift we give ourselves, not a burden we carry. And here's the hopeful truth. Discipline can be trained. It can be chosen. It can be crafted. You don't have to be born with it. You don't have to get it perfect. You just have to start. Small, simple, sustainable. Discipline doesn't demand perfection. It invites presence. It rewards intention. It grows in the light of repetition. And the best part, you can begin today, right now, by asking one question: what is one small promise I can keep with myself today? Then keep it, not for the outcome, but for the identity. Because every act of discipline is a vote for the person you are becoming. It's a whisper to your future self, I believe in you. And one day, you'll look back and realize you didn't change your life in one leap. You built it, one small act of discipline at a time. Let's begin with a quote. A sentence that in its simplicity has transformed millions. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. Jim Rohn. At first glance, it sounds obvious, but if you sit with it long enough, you realize it's not a statement. It's a philosophy, it's a roadmap, it's a challenge, and it's a choice we make every single day. Jim Rohn wasn't just offering advice, he was delivering a warning. Without discipline, even the clearest goals remain fantasy. With discipline, even the hardest dreams become reality. So let's unpack it. What does discipline really mean? Not in the punishing, rigid sense, but in the way Jim meant it, as alignment, as a system, as a commitment to becoming. Discipline is doing what you said you would do, after the feeling that made you say it has passed. Discipline is keeping the promise, to yourself, to your future, to your values. It starts with a decision, then becomes a habit, and eventually an identity. And Jim understood that deeply. He broke discipline down into 3 levels: mental, behavioral, and emotional. Let's walk through each. 1. Mental discipline, mastering thought. Jim believed that everything begins with philosophy, and that philosophy is shaped by your thoughts. Your thoughts shape your focus shapes your beliefs shape your behavior. So mental discipline is not about thinking positive, it's about thinking purposefully. It's choosing what to dwell on, what to feed, what to reject. Most people let their minds wander. Jim taught us to let our minds work, to direct them, train them, harness them. He once said, "Don't just read the easy stuff. You may be entertained by it, but you will never grow from it." Mental discipline means reading with intention, reflecting with clarity, questioning your default reactions. Because if you don't discipline your mind, the world will distract it. and distraction is the death of transformation. 2. Behavioral discipline, mastering habits. Behavioral discipline is what most people think of when they hear the word, but Jim took it deeper. He said, success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day. That's it. Not 10-hour workdays, not genius, not breakthroughs, but a few simple disciplines. That's the power of compounding. Brush your teeth once, no change. Brush your teeth twice, still no change. Brush your teeth every day for 10 years, big change. Same with journaling, same with stretching, same with reading, same with saying I love you. Small doesn't mean weak, small means sustainable, and sustainable wins every single time. But how do we build behavioral discipline? Jim had a 3-part formula. 1. Keep a journal. Capture your insights, questions, wins, and mistakes. 2. Plan your day. Don't start the day until it's written down. 3. Review your results. Every week ask, what worked? What didn't? Why? He treated life like a business. Trackable, reviewable, accountable. That's behavioral discipline, not perfection, but presence. 3. Emotional discipline, mastering state. This is the level most people overlook, but Jim made it clear. Your ability to lead your life depends on your ability to lead your state. He said, learn to be happy with what you have while you pursue all that you want. Emotional discipline means responding instead of reacting, feeling emotions fully but not being ruled by them, returning to center, especially when things fall apart. Point 5s. This doesn't mean suppressing emotion. It means seeing them for what they are, messengers, not masters. Emotions aren't bad, they're just not supposed to be in the driver's seat. Jim often reminded us, discipline weighs ounces, regret weighs tons. So how do we practice emotional discipline? Here are 3 anchors Jim lived by. Gratitude. Every day, name what's working. Reflection. Don't just feel, explore the feeling. Vision. Stay connected to where you're going, not just where you are. When emotions swirl, anchor to something deeper. Not to deny the storm, but to sail through it. So let's bring this home. Discipline is not a punishment. It's a pathway. It's not a rigid schedule. It's a flexible strength. It's the bridge between who you are now and who you were born to become. Discipline isn't about grinding harder, it's about aligning better. Jim Rohn didn't live a perfect life, but he lived an intentional one. He wasn't born successful, he became successful through disciplined thought, disciplined habits, disciplined emotion. And if he could do it, so can you. You don't have to be extraordinary, you just have to be consistent. So ask yourself, where am I lacking discipline right now? Where have I confused inspiration with integrity? Where have I chosen comfort over commitment? And most importantly, what is one small discipline I can choose today? Because that is the first brick of your bridge. And one brick at a time, you build the life you were meant to live. So far, we've unpacked what discipline means. We've seen how it bridges the gap between dreams and results. We've explored how Jim Rohn lived it through thought, habit, and state. But now, it's your turn. Because knowledge without action is just potential. And potential without direction is just pressure. So let's turn insight into motion. Let's ground this talk into practice. Let's bring discipline down to earth, where real change happens. I want to give you 3 small but powerful actions. Not theories, not philosophies, but real, tangible things you can do, starting today. Each one is simple. Each one is repeatable. Each one is designed to build the bridge. Ready? Let's begin. Action 1. Reflect and rewrite. The truth audit. Step 1 to discipline is not to act harder. It's to see clearer. So here's the challenge. Today, write down 3 moments from the past week where you gave up on a small promise, where your discipline slipped, where your follow-through faded. It could be something tiny. You said you'd journal but didn't. You planned to wake up early but snoozed. You meant to eat mindfully but grabbed fast food. Now, for each one, write this question: what would I have done if I was operating from my highest self? Then write the answer. Even if it feels awkward, even if it feels idealistic, even if it feels impossible, because every time you imagine that version of yourself, you give it more oxygen, more shape, more life. You begin to see your reaction wasn't the only option. You had a choice, and choice is where freedom begins. This exercise is not about guilt, it's about awareness, and awareness is the foundation of every transformation. So start there. 3 moments, 3 reflections, every day if you can. This is how you train emotional and mental discipline, by rewriting the story before you repeat it. Action 2. Track and translate your self-talk. If discipline is the sail, then language is the rope that holds it. And most of us, we're using weak ropes, frayed language, words that sabotage us silently. So today, track your self-talk for 1 hour or even 1 day. Listen for phrases like, I have to, I can't. This always happens. I'm just not good at that. These seem small, but they are patterns, and patterns shape perception. Once you catch one, rewrite it on the spot, flip it, translate it, strengthen the rope. Examples: I have to write this report. I get to clarify ideas and grow my craft. I can't focus. I'm learning how to stay present. I'm lazy. I'm rebuilding new rhythms, 1 step at a time. You are not lying to yourself. You are leading yourself, and every word is a nudge in one direction or another. So write 5 common phrases you catch yourself saying. Then rewrite them. Read them aloud. Put them on your phone, your mirror, your journal. Say them until they sound like the truth, because they will become the truth. Words are not neutral. They are maps. They are blueprints. And if you want a different result, you need a different script. Action 3. Notice the micro moments. The third practice is subtle, but it is gold. It's not about what you do for an hour. It's about how you respond in the 5 seconds before it. Discipline is not just routines. It's reflexes. It's noticing the moments when you choose. Moments like reaching for your phone out of habit, deciding whether to stretch or scroll, choosing to reply to a message with patience or not. So here's the challenge. Every time you catch yourself in a moment of choice, pause, breathe, ask, what would the disciplined version of me do now? You'll be amazed how often the answer is clear, and even more amazed by how often you're willing to follow through. Discipline grows fastest in the micro moments, because those are the reps, those are the votes, that's the real gym. So build the muscle where it actually matters, not once a week, but 10 seconds at a time. So let's bring this together. 3 small things. 1. Reflect and rewrite the truth. 2. Track and translate your self-talk. 3. Notice and nurture the micro moments. These are not hacks. They are rituals. They are disciplines. They are seeds. And when planted daily, they don't just change your behavior. They shift your identity. Because you don't build a bridge by thinking about it. You build it by laying bricks. And these are your first bricks. So here's your next move. Pick one. Just one. And do it today. Don't wait until next Monday. Don't wait motivation returns. Don't wait until everything is perfect. Start today. Tiny, real, consistent. Because the bridge is not built by inspiration, it's built by action. And every time you choose discipline over delay, you take a step, you build momentum, you prove something to yourself, you become someone new, 1 step closer. 1 brick stronger, 1 day more aligned. This is the bridge, and you're already walking it. So here we are. You've walked the bridge of awareness. You've studied the architecture of discipline. You've met the patterns that hold you back and the principles that can carry you forward. You've reflected, you've imagined, you've planned. Now it's time to choose. Because all of this, all these words, they mean nothing unless they move you. Move you to reflect, move you to realign, move you to rise. This is not the end of a talk. This is the beginning of a decision. The moment where ideas either fade or forge. Discipline is not something you find on a good day. It's something you form, especially on the hard ones. Brick by brick, breath by breath, day by day. And yes, it will be uncomfortable. Yes, it will be imperfect. Yes, it will require you to choose what's right over what's easy. But here's what no one tells you. Growth does not begin with confidence. It begins with willingness. Willingness to pause, to think, to try, to stumble, to rise. So I ask you, what would your life look like if discipline became your compass? Not your jailer, not your punishment, but your guide. What would happen if you stopped waiting to feel ready and started acting from who you want to become? What if discipline became your act of self-respect, your love letter to the future you? your way of saying, I matter too much to give up on again. Because here's what I know. Discipline is not restriction. It's revelation. It's not about rules. It's about rhythm. It reveals what matters. It reveals what you value. It reveals who you really are when no one's looking. So let me offer you this, not a task, not a worksheet, but a quiet challenge. Tonight, before you go to sleep, ask yourself this question: what would the disciplined version of me do tomorrow morning? And then, set one alarm, place one post-it, prepare one glass of water, lay out one shirt, write one sentence in your journal. Because action is not built in the big declarations, it's built in the little permissions, in the small signals you send to yourself. I'm choosing again. Permission to start, permission to fail forward, permission to realign. You are not behind, you are becoming. And every moment you choose discipline, you choose direction. So from here on out, every time you stand at a fork in the road, ask yourself, does this honor the person I'm trying to become? If yes, step forward. If no, step away. Then try again. Then forgive. Recommit. Try again. Because the discipline is not just in doing, it's in deciding, it's in designing, it's in drawing the line. This is what I stand for, and standing again when you forget. Jim Rohn said, success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines, practiced every day. So let today be day one. Let this decision be your anchor. Let this moment be your turning point. Let this breath be your restart. Not because everything changes at once, but because today you chose to change. You planted a flag, you rewrote a line, you remembered who you are becoming. And if you need one line to hold on to, let it be this: discipline is the bridge, and I choose to walk it. Say it aloud, write it down, comment it, declare it, whisper it in doubt, repeat it in strength, because sometimes the most powerful change starts with the quietest commitment. So let me ask you one final question. Will you walk the bridge? If yes, comment below, I choose the bridge. Let the world know, let your future know, let yourself know that today you didn't just watch a video, you made a vow to lead, a vow to grow, a vow to become, a vow to return when you forget. The bridge is waiting, discipline is calling, and you are ready.